Buzz City is here today with Sandra Butel, Artistic Director of the Regina Folk Festival. Sandra, could you give us the highlights of this year's lineup?
Well, we're pretty excited. We just released our individual night lineup so that we finally give people an opportunity to buy individual night tickets, although we still encourage you to buy the weekend pass instead. And I was doing a radio show today with Bedhead at CJTR, and yay, CJTR! Yeah. And we were like playing some of the music from each of the nights, and Friday I was just, really picturing how people were going to feel in the park, and it's got such a nice build, and there's so much atmosphere in the musicians that are playing. Starting off with Fred Penner, because it's just a good way to kick off the festival, to have somebody as classic as him there. He's got quite the following in the indie crowd now. He's being lauded as one of the most exciting things at Canadian Music Week, which is fantastic, because he's been doing it forever, so he has a really great connection to those kids that were, when they were kids, they were watching the show. After that is Braids. We had a great Canadian band, Etran Finatawa, out of Nigeria. So they're two nomadic tribes who normally are warring tribes who have come together in this band. And their music is like a nomadic blues, and it's very trancey. And there's one dancer guy who's he's very mesmerizing. I think people will be very moved by them because they're in full costume and their faces are painted up, and it's I saw them in Calgary last year, and it's pretty much blew my mind.
Sounds great.
And Andrew Bird, who I've been working on for 5 years, and I'm a big fan. I'm really excited about that too. I'm always excited about the lineup, but some of the people I've worked harder to get. Katie Tunstall, who I've been working on for a while, who people may not know her name, but her song was in The Devil Wears Prada. She's got another song that got huge on YouTube with some of the work she did. I'm trying to remember Suddenly I See is her song that people know really well. So that's Friday night, and then Saturday we start off with Library Voices, which is fantastic. They're doing really well. They've got a new album coming out as well, a local band.
And they were at last year's festival too.
They played the parties last year.
Okay.
I had them only at the parties. We were moving the parties over to a new venue, and I wanted to have somebody that had some draw in the city, so we had them there with the idea that we would bring them back this year once they were new album and everything. It was kind of an exciting time for them. And then Marco Cagliari, he sings in Italian. He used to be in a heavy metal band, so there's some edge to what he's doing. I would compare him to Gogo Bordello. He's not as crazy, and he sings better, but he's got this really low, voice, and his band is fantastic. I would predict he's one of the discoveries that people make at the festival. Shakira Saida, who's a blues artist out of Toronto, who's going to blow people away. Taj Mahal, and Katie Lang and her band, the Sis Boom Bang. So Saturday's a pretty hot night. I think there'll be a lot of dancing going on. People won't be sitting for very long. And then Sunday we start up with the Sojourners, who are a gospel group out. Well, they're originally from the U.S., living in BC. They were formed as a backup band for Jim Burns when he did a gospel album quite a few years ago, which was amazing. They were his backup band, and since then they've created this. So they'll cleanse us all on Sunday to start it off. And then Dan Mangan, who's doing incredibly well, Canadian artist doing incredibly well for himself all around the world. Aurelio Martinez, who's from Honduras, who was booked last year but didn't come because they had a problem with their visas, so hopefully they'll make it this year. Carole de Pirate, who is, she's had a gold record in Canada. She's super popular in the French community and just starting to become known in the indie community. Music-wise, she's probably going to be our Patrick Watson, I would say, from last year, where people went, what was that? And I love that. And from very different groups of people. And then closing with Hawksley Workman, who's always fantastic. He's doing a duo thing with Mr. Lonely. Have you seen Hawksley?
I've seen Hawksley. Mr. Lonely.
Mr. Lonely, he's been with them for a long time. He's the piano player with them that Hawksley talks to a lot during the show. But that's the formation with Hawksley that I prefer, not the rock band. But him and Mr. Lonely create some really great dynamics on stage, and Hawksley's always entertaining. So that's the individual nights. We have a ton of wonderful local artists that are part of the festival.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Because we all look forward to the main stage.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to know about the local talent that's performing this year. Buzz readers are familiar with two of the scheduled acts, Indigo Joseph and Jeffrey Straker. They've both been featured on BuzzCity. But if you could talk a little bit about the other local talent.
Well, even those ones, I mean, it's like Jeffrey Straker is such a wonderful artist and he's been working so hard, and he's been doing so many things, so it's, you know, it's like, it's his time to be a part of what we're doing too.
Absolutely.
Indigo Joseph, exciting band. I mean, people they're really doing well. They're a bunch of young guys, haven't been playing together that long, but they've played so many gigs together that they're so polished. It's pretty unbelievable, and the songwriting and the presentation is quite amazing.
They're very creative.
They're really creative. There's a couple of the guys who ran a kids camp that my child went to. So it's like, we know it's like, wow, these kids have this band and, you know, they'd like you to hear it. And it's like, wow, this is great. So it's really fun. It's really fun to discover those that are brand new but are, you know, actually on to something and really working hard at it, like off the get-go. Zachary Lucky from Saskatoon, who's also a pretty hard-working local artist who tours a lot, has been doing a lot of work. He's on tour like all the time.
Is he solo or?
Yeah, he's solo singer-songwriter guy.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. Makes me think of a few years ago booking Andy Schoaf, and you know, people just going, who is this guy? And I think Zachary Lucky is one of those guys too, where he's just been working steadily at it for a very long time, and it's starting to pay off for him.
Good.
Slow Down Molasses from Saskatoon as well, who are a fantastic band, who are also doing really well. It's interesting because sometimes I hear about these bands through colleagues that I work with at other festivals, more than I hear it. Like I've heard of Slow Down Molasses for a long time, but when it starts to come back to me from them, then I know that the band has evolved to a level that makes them fit the festival better than they might have in the past.
And what type of music do they play?
Oh, you know, categorizing music is hard.
Yeah,
it's probably like rootsy, folky. You know, we could look them up and see how they describe themselves. Well, that's what I would say.
It's close enough.
No, I mean, but I'm like, genres are so.
Oh, there's so much overlap.
There is so much overlap.
Rootsy, folksy. We'll go with that.
That sounds okay. And then if they don't like that description, they can tell me a different one. Hard Ramblers, who we also just had at both Hard Ramblers and Indigo Joseph come to us from. We do the SAS sampler every year, and Hard Ramblers was like out of left field, like applied. We do our applications on Sonic Vid, so people send music. I listened to it, thought, oh, this could be really good, and they arrived and they had changed one member of their band, which was this woman singer who was amazing. She's an amazing singer, and they're all very good, but it was like people going, what? Who is she? Where did she come from? Yeah, it was really like, she's got this clear voice, and their music is great. It's bluegrass and two women and a man, nice vocal harmonies together. But it was very like surprising people going, wow, they're from Swift Current, and we've never heard of them before. So I like being able to present those artists to people so that afterwards they'll know, they'll know this band when they never knew them before. I like finding them too. It's like, oh, surprise.
Yeah.
Rah-Rah's coming back to the festival.
Good, good.
It's been, I don't know how many years. I lose track of the years.
Yeah.
I don't know which year is which, but they're coming back to the festival this year, which is great.
Good.
Fantastic local band who's constantly evolving and challenging themselves and getting out there. Fada Dance is back again doing some workshops with kids. And I also have Judy and Lucy, so they work at the Globe, and this year it's Judy and Greg, because Lucy's out of town. So it's like, they do some theater workshops with kids. They're part of the Globe's young performers. Okay. So it's good. It's a good opportunity for those artists to get some recognition for the work they're doing as individual actors, but also to give the kids at the festival a chance to get a taste for it too. So yeah. It
was just mentioned by the Cathedral Festival how few opportunities there are for children to see live theatre. So the folk festival is
There's
another
really
opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean this opportunity is that they're more doing theatre games than they are seeing live theatre. But I would like to see, you know, we've brought the Mackenzie into the festival, so they'll be doing like art creation on site, and we have worked with New Dance in the past, and it's like trying to integrate all the arts into the festival and figure out how you can do that. Theater's tricky because it's an outdoor venue, etc. But I think that there are ways to continually integrate different types of arts into it. So at least if there's some kind of workshop where kids are learning about it, then at least it's there and there's a flavor. We don't want it to be just music, even though music is the primary thing that we're doing.
It's a cultural event.
It's a cultural event, and it's bringing the community together. And if the community has those things going on in it, then you want to reflect that by actually having some there. So,
just to review, the festival, 2011 Regina Folk Festival, is on August 5th through 7th.
Yep.
Is that correct?
You're correct.
And the day passes are how much money?
Well, right
for
now,
evening, for
the evening
night?
passes, well, right now, there's still maybe a few early birds left. We're just checking. We were like 90% sold out over the last couple of days, so we're pretty close. And now we released our individual night. So those, if it was early bird, it was $79 for students and $89 for adults, and those go up by $10. So they're $89 for students and $99 for adults. Individual night tickets are different each night. So advanced Friday is $47, advanced Saturday is $57, and advanced Sunday is $40.
Okay.
So you get a free, if you're going Friday, Saturday, you get a free night if you buy a weekend pass. So we're trying to keep the weekend pass at a price where it encourages people to come for the whole weekend rather than just picking an artist they want to see and buying that night.
Because as you say, if they come and see the performances of people they've never heard of, they'll probably discover someone they love.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we get that feedback. We always say that. It's like, okay, we have to book a certain amount of headliners because we do have to have something that draws people to the festival. But there are more and more people who, you know, they know that even though they're excited, that Katie Lang's going to be there, and Andrew Bird and Todd Hall, that they're excited about that, that they also know that they're going to walk away with new discoveries. And it becomes now where early on people say to me, okay, who am I going to discover this year? Who is my favorite going to be? And I can tell them. I also program it to focus on particular artists because I think they're the one that's going to have the most impact on people. Or I want them, you know, I want people to see an artist from the desert, because we don't know what that is.
So culturally different.
Yeah, and so we can have that experience and feel comfortable with them, and that then affects how we look at the world and how we act with each other. And it isn't, you know, if it was about making money, we would book very different artists than we do. It's about maintaining and be able to keep doing it, sustain it over the long term. But really, the discovery is the best part of it, and bringing people together into a place where there's enough stuff there that they know they're going to have a good time, but then they're really open to everything else.
I think the other great thing about the Regina Folk Festival is that you can come during the day and it doesn't cost anything.
It's a special thing. It's like we moved downtown in 1985, and for 8 years it was a free festival, and then they didn't have any money, so they had to, okay, what are we going to do? I mean, it's, you know, you start spending, you want to do a better job of it, so you spend more money. Then you need to have revenues for it. So we've created the, you know, in the evening you pay and during the day it's free.
It's a good compromise.
You know what I think it is? It sometimes makes it hard for us because it means we're a Gemini with two personalities. You know, and selling the thing to the people in the day saying, hey, you can come check it out, it's free, there's all these great artists, you'll discover a lot of stuff. We've got the workshops happening where artists mix up together, and, you know, culturally it's really rich. And the last few years we've seen an incredible increase in the amount of people during the day, but the amount of diversity amongst the people during the day is quite shocking. Like Regina is...
That reflects what's happening in the city.
but it's happening, and we see it. I see it there more than I see anywhere else in the city. When I walk around the streets of downtown, I don't see it otherwise. So I know those people are coming, but we're seeing them, they're coming, we're reaching them. And, you know, it's the reality of people's economic situation is that not everybody can afford to pay the ticket.
No.
And that's okay. You know, the people that can afford to pay the ticket also help to subsidize people that can't. And it does create more of a community event when we have that free stuff. So we really like that part. It happened originally mostly because of regulations with the city, but those regulations are now gone, but we don't want to change it. So part of it is being able to make our main stage area bigger, and we're working on that too with the construction stuff. So.
Is that going to expand your area?
It should. We should be able to back up our main stage quite significantly so that we can get more space in front of it.
Okay.
So that's what we're hoping to do, and then our backstage area becomes on the street, and becomes, you know, they're in the process of finishing the construction, and it looks really good for things to be ready for us, and actually really well thought out for us too. So we're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that.
Well, I know people are frustrated with the project, but they're doing really well right now, and they're doing a really good job of speaking with us and consulting with us. So we're feeling good about how much we're being considered in the whole project.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're designing it as a festival site, and you know, they're making sure that we're happy with it, because right now we're the only festival in there. So if they're wanting to attract other festivals, then why not meet our standard, and then everybody else will be happy too.
Yes.
So.
Well, let's all pray for good weather that weekend.
Yeah. You know what? That weather is always a factor, but there's so many people who don't care.
No, it's true.
And you do get into the spirit of, and I always say this because the week before the festival I go on the news and they say, what's the weather going to be like? And I always say, you know what? The majority of the people don't care.
No.
Our ticket buyers that are coming up and buying a day pass, like just buying that evening, yeah, you get significantly less of them if the weather's bad. But all those weekend pass people, they just come. They come in their
troopers.
They've got their garbage bags over their head, and they've got, you know, and there is a special experience to making it through that with other people around you. It's not. I'm not just giving you a line. It's like it really is, and you've probably been there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Where people are dancing in the mud, and you're going, this is the best experience I've ever had. And when people talk about their favorite festival experiences over the 42 years of the festival, inevitably it's a big rainstorm that they remember. And that they remember, you know, in 1985, Katie Lang played during a huge rainstorm. And they remember that, and that was significant to them. So when I'm telling you that it doesn't matter, it does. Like financially, it makes a difference to us when people don't come because it's raining, and they, you know, can't be convinced to leave their house on Saturday night because it's not nice out. I mean, it's totally understandable, but that does impact us.
But they should come out because it would be a night to remember.
Well, yeah, you just like, we don't melt, you know, and everybody else is there. Yeah, we don't need to clear ourselves off, but it is those dedicated festival goers, those weekend pass people who, you know they don't care if it rains or not, so they buy their pass way in advance. And things are selling so much more quickly this year that last year we sold out early birds end of June, and they're going to sell out probably this week.
And do you think that is the economy or the lineup, or? I
think there's a combination of things. Is that we've gotten better reaching people that care about what we're doing. The lineup makes a big difference. People are buzzing like crazy. Katie Lang is the biggest buzz, and people are. I mean, that takes us to a new level that we haven't been at. Every artist, you know, last year was John Prime's, like that takes us to a new level. But Katie's higher than that. So it brings people's interest to what we're doing, and it makes the people who've gone for years go, I better get it now, because I might not have the luxury of it being later. And, you know, there's a limited amount of space in there, and that we're selling so quickly. You know, we do say to people, yeah, go buy them, but hey, if you miss out, then you can come next year after. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have for us to have people who can't make it in, but we don't want to book people that, you know, 8,000 people want to come see him, so there's 5,000 disappointed people. We don't want that either. So there is a balance in there to find the right artists.
And do you think that you would ever move to a different location so that you could accommodate a larger crowd, or do you want to keep it small?
We really love what we have. I think some of our thinking for expansion becomes, okay, maybe you add a Thursday night, or maybe you start doing more stuff during the day that brings in revenue. So, you know, we may add a daytime beer garden, and in the future that may become bigger. And thinking about ways we can partner with the businesses downtown to bring money into us during the day, and still be able to offer that free stuff for people. So I think we're getting better at, you know, finding those people that are the right partners for us, and being able to sell them the idea that we're giving all this free stuff to our audiences. So I think that would be the logical expansion. And Regina is an interesting town where it's like, our population is growing slightly, but it's like, you know, in another city, the same lineup would attract a lot more people than it does in Regina. So we still have a very vibrant arts community, but it's not the whole population of Regina. So, you know, if we made that big jump, I don't know, it seems like a risky thing to do.
Well, and you've got it good the way it is.
Yeah, no, I think you'd have to get to like 2-3 years of selling out every year before you decide that you wanted to jump, because we don't also want to keep raising ticket prices to pay for the, you know, inflation, etc. You can't put that on the back of your audience.
Well, and you're going to have this fabulous brand customized facility, so
it'd be kind of silly, but I think that we'll keep working to take advantage of the design that they've done and expand ourselves into the downtown and work more with, you know, have more things going on than just in the park. Because why not bring business to the downtown? That's, you know, that's the heart of the city. So we want to be able to work with the city in their plan to bring people downtown and their plan to have more artistic and economic activity going on down here. That's great. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
It's good for all of us.
Well, I still wish you good weather.
Yeah, thank you. I always, you know, I always try to make deals right before the festival. You know, I'm making deals. Just like, well, if you just give me, you know,
one good night,
like I could take, like, if you're gonna rain, could it be this time? And you know, generally in the last few years, we've been really lucky with what's happened. We had that one year with the crazy winds, and in the end, nothing happened. But you know, we're very prepared to take care of people if anything happens. I mean, people are safe with us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like we're ready for that. So if something happens, we have a lot of people ready to help us to take care of everybody. But you know, great weather, that makes it all the more.
It's just
like the cherry
on
top.
Well, thanks so much, Sandra.
It was nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it was nice speaking with you. And we'll talk again next year.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.